guys, I have some sugar beet cookies here for you today. I'm working on Easter cookies. So we have a cute little bunny and an egg. And I wanted to show you how to do this really easy crackle technique on cookies. So this only takes 2 ingredients and is super quick. And it's perfect for cookies that you don't want a lot of icing on. So I'm going to be coming back into here with some piped florals and greens on these cookies in a royal icing. But sometimes I find that flooding a cookie and then decorating on top of it and then accenting it with any script or fonts or any additional decor I want, it can be too much. It can be too sweet, it can be too sugary, and it doesn't allow the flavor of the cookie to shine through. And I have a really good flavored cookie. I developed a honey sugar cookie that has a really nice soft bite to it, but crispy on the outside. And I really like the cookie flavor to shine through sometimes, and people really like it. I myself am one of those people that doesn't like a lot of icing. So when you want to have a really beautiful, pretty cookie with maybe a vintage vibe or this sort of rustic barn house feel, then this crackling technique is a really easy go-to. And most cookie decorators or cake decorators are going to have the supplies. All you need is the AmeriColor gel paste in a white. You have to have this product. I have tested so many variations and techniques over the years, and this is the only one that actually truly works. It is a water-based product. If you use the, say the Wilton White, it won't work. That is a oil-based product, and this one is a water-based product. And you need to make sure you get the gel paste, not the airbrush mist. So, AmeriColor Soft Gel Paste Food Color Bright White. It's number 226. You'll need that, and then you'll need some cornstarch. That is it. And the measurements are pretty simple. I've already started here in a little cup. So all I have is half a teaspoon of the AmeriColor gel, and then I'll want a 1/4 teaspoon of the cornstarch. So basically you're doing 2 parts of this to 1 part of the cornstarch. And the measurements are not exact. They're pretty loose. You can just play with it, but you want the general idea of 2 to 1. 2 parts liquid, 1 part powder. And you can always go in and add more of something if you need to, and you just mix it up. Cornstarch notoriously doesn't mix well with water-based products. However, you'll find that this mixes up fairly easy and really quick. And you're looking for sort of a really thinned out toothpaste consistency. I want to say almost like an acrylic paint, a crafter's acrylic paint consistency. And it's very forgiving. You're just going to get different levels of crackling depending on how much powder or how much liquid you have. But you can't really go wrong as long as you're following the 2 to 1. So 2 parts liquid, 1 part powder. And then all you need is a cookie. I'll take this one. And you're just going to paint it on. You're going to get a nice, I like to use a nice flat brush. And you're just going to paint it onto your cookie. I like to try and make sure I have crisp edges and instead of going right to over the edge of my cookie. So I'm going to come back through with a little extra on the brush and kind of just press that in for a nice clean line. And you don't have to worry about it too much because it's going to crackle anyways, and you're going to get sort of these little rough edges. So you want a fairly thick layer of this on there. That's what's going to create the best crackle. You don't want it so thick that it takes forever to dry, but you do want it to be thick enough that there's a layer in there, and what happens is the cornstarch and the gel paste start drying. They dry at different times. and start pulling apart from each other. And then they set that way. So it will get fairly dry very quickly because cornstarch is like that. It doesn't hold the liquid. And you'll get a lot of sort of excess in the base of your brush. So I always just kind of squish it out and then smooth it out. This is kind of hard to do. I'm standing up right now just to make sure that I can keep an eye on the camera. And this is hard to get my crisp, clean lines. So, and that's it. That's all you have to do. Now, I tend to come in with a smaller brush, more fine tip brush, and this is when I'll clean up my edges. And you can do this really at any time. Just because I'm not quite sure what my piping accent details are going to be just yet. I'm not sure if I'm going to sort of pipe an outline on these or if just I'm going to leave them sort of fairly bare and rustic. These I would let sit for a couple of hours. You'll start seeing them crackle within probably 20 minutes. Doesn't want to go on the cookie there. Okay. I'm going to stop fussing. Okay. So you'll want to leave them for a couple of hours. They will start cracking in about 20 minutes. However, I'm going to help you speed up this process. You can always put your temperature of your oven to the very, very lowest setting and sit your cookies on a sheet as far away from the element as you can for just a couple of minutes, and it's going to help dry it quicker and then pull it out. And the difference of the warmth of the oven to the coolness of your room temperature space will help the crack set in much quicker. You can also take a hair dryer and do that. You have to be really careful when putting your cookies back in the oven because you don't want to soften the cookie or let it fall apart or overcook. But I'll show you with a hair dryer how we can bring that crackle out, and I'll help do a little bit of a time lapse here. Okay, so I'm gonna do this. I'm actually not going to use a hair dryer. I'm going to use my heat gun at the very, very lowest setting. I would not recommend this. However, I want to show you a little quicker how this can happen, and I'll be sure to time lapse this and block out the sound of the heat gun. So take a peek at what happens when you do this. Surface was hot. Okay. So this is why I don't suggest using a heat gun. You also don't want to cook your ingredients, burn anything, or cook your cookie. However, I was doing it far enough away and being very careful, so I knew what I was doing. But you can see it crackled it, and this would be ready to decorate on immediately. What I would suggest is just letting them sit for a couple of hours and then coming back and decorating, and then that way you make sure that everything is set nice and clean. You can also come back in after and just fix up those edges if you need to with a little bit more of the mixture, or you can even just use a little bit of this without the cornstarch in it and just clean up those edges if you really want crisp, clean edges. If you're OCD like me, that might be something you want to do. But guys, how easy is that? Super easy, super fun, no flavor. There is no flavor in this. And if there are people that can taste the flavor, it is so mild. Cornstarch really doesn't have much flavoring in it. So yeah, just wanted to show you that super easy technique. Cheers.